crafting an energy cooperation agreement to improve the fortunes of struggling Caribbean and Latin American countries, forging partnerships that brought a lifeline for participating nations. An agreement that would extend beyond the commercial to improve the social fabric of the region.
The PetroCaribe Energy Agreement opened a new era of collaboration to uplift and advance the economic and social conditions of people within our shores and territorial borders.
PetroCaribe remains an important mechanism for the promotion of closer cooperation and greater unity among countries in the region.
And on September 5, 2015, the 10th anniversary of the agreement, participating countries came together to mark the milestone, to renew commitments, to strengthen relationships, and to highlight achievements. Heads of government met for the 10th anniversary commemorative ceremony in Montego Bay, St. James, the place where it all began.
The PetroCaribe is part of a successful event to break that fatality, the historical fatality that tells the people that we cannot be free, that we cannot be with our own feet, and we cannot think with our own mind, that we cannot walk ourselves, that we cannot dream of conquering social happiness, economic development, or because we're too small.
It has made major contributions to improving the socio-economic development of states through investments totaling just under $4 billion in 432 social projects to foster improvements in the standard of living of our people. Among PetroCaribe's significant achievements that have positively impacted the Jamaican economy over the years are the investments in the improvement of our road, air and seaport infrastructure, the financing of micro, small and medium enterprises, and production expansion.
If all countries that own energy resources or resources of any other sort would do the same as Venezuela is doing, we would live in a more just, more developed, more equitable, more supportive, and more peaceful planet. It is a model based on solidarity. It is a model of protection of our peoples, for the protection of our peoples. It is a model of cooperation for the liberation and for development of our nations as well.
Our meeting today underscores the pledge of the countries of the region to support each other as we explore available options for building our economies and securing the development of our people.
To advance that cooperation and build on the gains already made, it was announced that a Council of Economy would be established to drive the development of a regional economic zone. The Venezuelan president urged fellow leaders to give it their full support. Looking ahead to the next 10 years, Energy Minister Phillip Paulwell said cooperation under the program would be strengthened in 4 key areas. Among them, expanding travel and trade opportunities to push products like fertilizer and other commodities among member states. Cooperation in the area of renewables and energy diversification is also a top priority.
This latter element supports an important strategy for developing countries, that of diversification of our energy sources to ensure both energy security and energy independence.
For Jamaica, the Energy Minister pointed to 2 projects now before the PetroCaribe Secretariat: the upgrading of the Petrojam oil refinery and the completion of the rural electrification program. To the naysayers, the skeptics who thought the PetroCaribe agreement would fail, Minister Paulwell pointed to its successes as proof of the strength of the region's commitment.
As participants, we have grown stronger, more cohesive, more collaborative, and increasingly mutually supportive of each other's development. The resolve remains strong and true. The lessons of PetroCaribe remain indelible, and its responsiveness to the challenges of change remain absolute.
To honor the chief architect of the PetroCaribe agreement, the late former Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez, former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson reiterated his call for a tangible tribute, an academy named in Chavez's honor.
Work on the discipline and design has already reached the embryonic stage for what would become now the Hugo Chavez Academy. This would expose the sons and daughters of Simón Bolívar, José Martí, Toussaint Louverture, and Marcus Garvey to develop fluency in language and hone the skills which blend our economic development and different cultures.
The proposal is for the academy to be built in Jamaica at the site where Spanish liberator Simón Bolívar wrote the famous Carta de Jamaica, or Letter from Jamaica. The 10th anniversary of the PetroCaribe agreement coincided with the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Jamaica and Venezuela. On September 6, shared history brought President Nicolás Maduro and Prime Minister Portia Simpson to the statue of Spanish liberator Simón Bolívar at the National Heroes Park in Kingston. Both leaders also led the official opening of the Simón Bolívar Cultural Center at North Parade. It was paid for by the government of Venezuela and the PetroCaribe Development Fund. Mrs. Simpson-Miller expressed Jamaica's gratitude for the center, which has a library, interpretation room, a language lab, multi-purpose room for lectures and performances, as well as administrative offices.
It is intended to promote and develop cultural programs for a better understanding of Latin America and the Caribbean culture.
The opening ceremony also coincided with the 200th anniversary of Simón Bolívar's famous Carta de Jamaica, which paved the way for unity between Latin America and the Caribbean.
The Jamaica letter, if we can describe it in modern terms, could be considered as a roadmap that took Bolívar from defeat to victory, from slavery to freedom.
Excerpts of that famous letter can be viewed at the center, along with Bolívar's sword, which was handed over for display. The cooperation and friendship between the two nations was evident, even beyond the formal engagements and official talks. Before he left, the visiting Venezuelan president took time to interact with Jamaicans and to get lost in the music of our people. PetroCaribe, 10 years on, growing the region through social and economic investments.